And to me, I think that a lot of I'm very interested in exploring foreign policy on the basis of climate and energy and diplomacy, human rights protections, and frankly, how we're going to develop a foreign policy that hinges on responding to the climate crisis as a global collective, as a global policy. And I personally believe that the climate crisis it transcends and touches everything. It's not just one issue. It's going to affect labor. It's going to affect inflation. It's going to affect racial justice. It's going to affect housing. It's going to affect trade. It's going to affect everything. And I think one example of this is the immigration crisis that we have. I'm really interested in how we are going to explore developing a U.S. foreign policy that is responsive to the climate crisis across all of these issues. And one of the things that I'm interested in is examining, for example, the U.S.'s role in helping preserve the Amazon, helping protect indigenous rights, because the Amazon is something that may be located in Latin America, but it is something that we as an entire planet are responsible for. When it comes to immigration, whether people like it or not, migration is global migration, not just in the Western Hemisphere, but due to the climate crisis, global migration and domestic migration, by the way, kind of migration in terms of population patterns, even within the United States, but also globally. This is something we're going to be contending with for the rest of our lives. As places become fundamentally changed due to the climate crisis, some places are going to be less arable, less sustainable to farming and communities than they were before. And they're going to be less livable, and people are going to naturally try to move so that they can live. And this is also, by the way, I think something that we're also going to see within the United States. There was a study recently that talked about how wet bulb temperatures how they are going to be reflected in the South, especially the southeastern United States. And wet bulb temperatures, for example, are something known as it's a temperature where you can essentially die or start to really meet very serious health challenges, potentially be hospitalized, but it's a balance between heat and humidity. So the more humid it is, the lower the temperature is required in order for your life to be threatened. And that can be as low as 95 degrees. Once humidity reaches certain levels, you can be hospitalized, you can die starting at 95 degrees. And we're seeing those wet bulb temperatures and what that might emerge from, particularly in the southeastern United States. And if you are lower income or can't afford an AC, or if there's a mass grid power outage, hello, state of Texas, we saw what happened in winter, but also, you have one major heat wave paired with the grid going down, and all of a sudden you're looking at a massive emergency. And so we're talking about things that even are potentially here in the United States. And I think it's just really important for us to understand that a lot of these issues, whether it's immigration, racial justice based issues, they're narrowed down as black and white in media, but they're not black and white issues. For example, like with this issue of immigration, no matter how you feel about this, it is going to be something that we are going to have to contend with in a major way for the rest of our lives. There is no solving this because the generations before us decided to consume our planet into a climate crisis, and they're still in charge and they won't stop. They won't. And so anyways, a lot of that has to do with this trip to Latin America. I'm really interested in what a climate-based foreign policy strategy could look like, and how the climate crisis can inform U.S. foreign policy in a way that shifts away from neocolonialism, shifts away from our imperialist history, and more towards inequitable history, particularly in Latin America, where we just have a very dark roots in the Monroe Doctrine.